to see my family. Then, the whole Iran conflict started on the day that I was supposed to fly. My flight got cancelled multiple times and the only way to rebook was DMing Emirates on X, which is absolutely weird. I didn't know if I was flying tomorrow or stuck for weeks, and I kept checking X constantly, day and night. And even when I got booked for a flight, it got cancelled again and I had to do the whole process from scratch. I was constantly monitoring the news and flight status that I couldn't sleep or work. I was so stressed. Eventually, I got a direct flight confirmed, but after so many cancellations, I didn't believe anything until I was physically on the plane. I came to the airport 4 hours prior to my flight, just in case, but it is packed and everyone looked like they've been waiting for hours. It was so chaotic and everyone was so panicked. I am finally on an airplane. I actually arrived to the airport 4 hours prior to the flight, but still I couldn't almost make it at the check-in counter and they were calling our names to check in faster. So if you have a flight, currently the airport is a complete chaos, so I would highly recommend you to go to the airport at least 4 hours prior to your flight, or even maybe 5 if you are not flying business or premium economy. I never experienced this much turbulences on the plane ever in my life. It might be due to the route change since we can't fly over Iran, but I'm not really sure. But even on the plane, I was still panicked that something might happen.
Hi guys, my name is Natalie, aka DJ Envy, aka Scatly 2.0, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I decided to record this now before I fall asleep again. I set everything up to record and I just woken up after having a little power nap apparently. So I'm going to record this now since things are developing quite quickly and it seems like as if this war in Iran is not cooling off anytime soon.
Here in the UAE, blasts have been heard from the beaches of Dubai to the streets of Abu Dhabi. This is an unprecedented attack by Iran on what it says are US military targets across Gulf nations. So here in Abu Dhabi, we have heard multiple explosions. The Ministry of Defense says that they have intercepted a number of missiles, but they also say that fallen debris has killed one person. Now, they have called it a blatant attack involving Iranian ballistic missiles. We've also seen smoke rising from the Al Dhafra military base here in Abu Dhabi, suggesting that maybe not all of those missiles were intercepted. There is an official shelter in place at the moment. The airspace is closed. This is not a country that is accustomed to this level of military attack.
So I'm recording this follow-up video to my last YouTube upload, which was posted a week ago.
This is what Dubai looks like right now with the whole missiles and drones thing going on. Completely normal.
What do you mean, what do I see when I look up? I see Burj Khalifa and a fantastic weather.
Everything's fine over here. I don't hear a single siren. There's no activity whatsoever in the air. Air defense is doing a great job. There's a flyover many hours ago, and you know, there's no explosions. So all the missiles are being taken out at sea because guess what? Dubai's safe.
is and will always be the safest city in the world. Our leadership always keeps us safe and we trust them completely. So stop believing the rumors spread by haters and come see it for yourself.
This is what Dubai looks like right now.
That was meters away from us. Look at this. That is the Fairmont Hotel in Dubai. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And them trying to gaslight themselves as well as their viewers that Dubai is one of the safest locations in the Middle East or in the Gulf state at the moment. That happened to be my most watched long form YouTube video with over 5,800 views and a lot of people commenting on it, possibly because this situation is escalating on a daily basis. This YouTube upload will include a lot more information, analysis and statistics, as the last reactionary video was obviously me just reeling off after watching these influencers just go off on tangents about how their life is ruined, how the Gulf state is not meant to be in the middle of any escalations, or how they are completely safe in this particular location in the Gulf state. It seems like as if Monday's drone strike, which was the third incident since the start of the war, almost 3 weeks ago now, happens to be targeting Dubai's airport, which is one of the world's busiest for international passengers. Some of the flights were delayed while others were cancelled altogether, in another hit to UAE's most travelled to location.
A Canadian passenger landing into Dubai captured a dramatic and unsettling scene from his window as his aircraft approached the runway. On the grounds of Dubai International Airport, a massive fire could be seen burning after a reported drone strike hit a fuel storage facility early Monday morning. The attack triggered a large blaze that witnesses say burned for most of the day, sending thick smoke rising above the airport. The incident forced a temporary suspension of operations at the world's busiest international airport. The fire was eventually brought under control, and no injuries were reported.
The country's energy sector has been under attack, and drones seem to have been targeting not only the oil storages and the tankers, which occurred on Saturday, but also targeting the oil facilities on Monday, causing a significant fire. And there has been a lot of coverage on this. It seems like because the majority of the world's oil supply happens to be either from Russia or it happens to be from the Middle East, this has caused a significant spike in the price of crude oil, including petrol, gas and diesel. So as reported by Reuters, energy prices have surged since today, on Thursday the 19th of March, after Iran has struck the world's largest LNG complex, causing damage that Qatar have said will take up to 5 years to repair, as the energy sector's worst fear about the war launched by Israel and the US has come into full effect. Now, I'm not quite sure what Qatar Energy LNG is. Qatar Energy LNG is formerly Qatar Gas, is the world's largest liquefied natural gas company. It produces and supplies the globe with 77 million metric tons of LNG annually from across its 7 ventures, Qatar Energy, LNGN, and other, I guess, subsidiaries of this. So it's the main site for producing liquefied natural gas, which is used globally for cooking, heating homes and generating electricity. It produces about the 1/5 of the world's supply of liquid natural gas. So not only has the LNG and the crude oil and distillery industry been affected negatively, as of mid-March, the Dubai property market is experiencing significant volatility following an escalation in regional conflicts, with the Dubai financial market, the DFM, real estate index dropping by approximately 20% to 32% in a number of days. But it is crucial to distinguish between the stock market, the equities of developers, and the physical property values, as the majority of purchases made in Dubai's real estate industry is made from off-plan agreements. The UAE's year-long property boom faces its first real test after Iranian missile strikes shattered the Gulf states' safe location vibe, rattling investors and exposing how heavily Dubai and Abu Dhabi rely on offshore money to sustain their building spree. The attacks on the airports, the ports and the residential areas in both the cities have punctured the region's reputation for stability at a moment when concerns about overheating were already surfacing. Developers that had been selling out their offshore launches within hours now confront a sharp change as demand drops. Off-plan deals make up 65% of Dubai's transactions in 2025, according to Better Homes, meaning most purchases were for homes not yet built. That pipeline may now face a far tougher market, with foreign appetite being set to be the deciding factor. So nothing is on hold, everything is on track, he said. Some developers played down the sell-off in this region. We know that things start quickly and end quickly, and we overcome this because the fundamentals across the GCC, the Gulf Corporation Council, nationals are strong, said the CEO of DAR Global, which is the luxury developer behind a string of Trump-backed and Trump-branded projects across the Gulf. And he says that the risk premium for UAE property has become much higher. International lenders, he added, would face pressure to scale back new loans, potentially forcing asset sales if the conflict drags on. Dubai's skyline has been transformed over the decades by staggering construction, ambitious plans. The Palm Jumeirah, sorry if I butchered that, once a radical experiment, is now an established luxury enclave. Palm Jebel Ali is rising from the Gulf with cranes tracing its outline. Abu Dhabi has also been reshaping its coast through a quieter but equally determined building push. The real estate rally accelerated after the lockdowns and after and post 2022 as the UAE tax-free regime liberalized the visas and economic reforms attracted wealthy migrants. Russians escaping the Ukrainian war, billionaires, family offices and hedge funds poured their money into property, and drawn by zero income tax and a business climate aiming to rival global financial hubs, such as in Paris and London, Wall Street in New York, etc. There is a building spree built on foreign demand. Even before the US-Israeli strikes on Iran, analysts were warning about a supply running ahead of population growth. JP Morgan said last week that Dubai's demographic expansion was unlikely to absorb the 300,000 to 400,000 new units expected by 2028. Foreign interest in purchasing property following the conflict will be crucial. Abu Dhabi's commercial bank economist said in a new note on Wednesday, which was yesterday, expatriates and non-residential buyers are a crucial demand pillar. They added, with new supply expected to rise from the second half of this year and remain high throughout the next 2 years. The strikes hit just as that supply wave was gathering pace. Real estate investment typically relies on stability, visibility, and sustainability, and investor confidence, all of which has been weakened during this prolonged geopolitical uncertainty, said the co-founder and CEO of Neo Vision Wealth Management in Abu Dhabi. And this is obviously the Burj Khalifa. It's one of the most prominent symbols of wealth of ultra high net worth individuals and high net worth individuals being able to go to this location.